This is about the introduction of a new reschedule option in Powerproject to calculate the critical path drag of tasks. When we perform critical path analysis, activities that are not on the critical path are known to have float. This is the amount of time that they can slip by without affecting the project's end date. On the reverse of this, critical activities have drag. This is the amount of time that an activity is adding to the project's duration. Or looked at another way, the amount of time a task can be reduced by to shorten a project's duration before it's no longer critical or its duration becomes zero and it therefore no longer affects the project's end date. So critical path drag as a field has been added to Powerproject, and that can be found under the float options. And when we perform a reschedule, we can optionally choose to compute critical path drag. The project's critical path drag, only critical activities obviously show this figure, and it's either equal to the activity's duration, or if there are two tasks in parallel, the critical path drag will be the amount of float of the parallel task. So in this example, we can see that if task 1 was to be reduced by a day, that would in turn reduce my project end date by a day. The critical path drag now remains at 1 day, which is the duration of this activity. If I was to reduce it any shorter, it would become a milestone. Task C is also critical. It has a drag of 1 day, and that's the amount of float shown on task B. Therefore, if I reduce this activity by a day, that will affect my end date by a day. If I reduce it any further, it no longer has any critical path drag, because if I reduce it further, itself becomes non-critical. It's no longer affecting the end date of my project. So critical path drag is a useful way of identifying the tasks that should be addressed first when attempting to shorten the duration of a project. And associated to this, we're now able to filter tasks according to the amount of critical path drag that they have.